Hi everyone, my name is Julia and I'm a physical therapist at Breakthrough. I'm here today with a beginner dryland workout for swimmers. It'll be just over 30 minutes and we're going to include a warm-up, a main strength portion, and a cool down. So the main strength portion, swimming is a full body exercise, so that strength portion is going to target our full body. We're going to work on our legs, quads, hamstrings, glutes. We're going to work on our arms and our shoulders, and then we're also really going to target the core, which is really important for maintaining your body position in the water and translating the force from your upper body to your lower body for propelling yourself through the water. So, let's start off here with a warm-up. The warm-up is important. We got to get our bodies ready to go. So the first one's going to be a high knee march. Just march those knees up. So just like you don't get in the pool and start sprinting right off the bat, we don't jump right into our strength portion of the workout. You want to make sure your muscles are warm, ready to go, your heart rate's up a little bit before getting into these dryland strength moves. So first we're getting the legs. Use the core to lift that knee up. My mat's kind of sticky today. Our next one is going to be arm circles. So big arm circle forward, big arm circle backwards. You can also step side to side. Keep those legs moving a little bit. So make sure you have full range of motion in your shoulder. We want to make sure our full body is all nice and warmed up for this workout. The next warm-up exercise is going to target our hips. It's going to be an open, close the gate. So you're going to lift your knee up and over and then close. So open the gate, close the gate, open the gate, close the gate. So this workout is going to be all low impact. If you want to add a little bit of intensity, you can add a bounce to this open the gate, close the gate, but totally not necessary. You can just stick with slowly opening, closing. We're just working that hip range of motion. Our next one, we're going back to the arms. We're going to reach forward and back. So nice and tall. Open your chest, reach back, and then kind of round the shoulders, reach forward. Getting through that full range of motion, warming up the spine, warming up the shoulders. Try and keep those shoulders relaxed so you don't want to shrug up too close to your ears. Reach all the way forward, reach all the way back. And we're going to go to a walk down to plank. So walk your hands out into a strong plank position. Walk them back up. Use your hamstrings and glutes to pull back up to standing. So warming up the arms. Get the core in here. Should be breathing a little bit at this point. And the last one's going to be a high knee torso twist. Finish this last walk down. So stand up nice and tall. Bring your opposite elbow towards your opposite knee. Don't slump your back over. Getting a little twist in the torso here. You put your hands behind your head. And make sure not to crunch down. Don't crunch your shoulders over. Lift your knee up. Get a nice rotation here. This is our last warm-up exercise. Should be breathing a little bit. All right, and that's it for the warm-up. Okay, so for the main strength portion of this workout, we're going to be doing 6 groups of 2 exercises, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off in an AB-AB pattern, so twice through each group of 2. So for these exercises, you might need some weight. If you're really just starting off dryland, then you can just do this body weight. Otherwise, you can grab light weights like soup cans, water bottles, or if you have some kind of dumbbells, you can always use that too. So grab something with a little bit of weight to it, and we'll get this started. Our first group of 2 exercises is going to be a dead bug and a bird dog. So these are down on the ground. The dead bug is going to be arms and legs, knees over your hips, arms over your shoulders. So opposite arm, opposite leg, straighten, and then pull back. So extend opposite arm, opposite leg, come back to right over your shoulder, right over your hip. Inhale out, exhale together. So draw your belly button gently towards your spine. Try and keep your back flat on the ground. So right off the bat, we're really targeting the core here. We really need this core strength to translate the power from, like, say you have a dolphin kick and you start the dolphin kick at your chest, it has to roll all the way down towards your feet. So your core has to translate that power from your upper body to your lower body. Take a quick break here. I'm going to switch on to our hands and knees for a bird dog. So again, belly button draw gently towards your spine. Get your back with a neutral arch in it. You're going to extend opposite arm, opposite leg. Inhales, you lower down. Exhales, you lift your arm and leg up. So exhale out. Inhale back in. And you want to make sure your hips level. They shouldn't be wobbling all over. And you don't want to get a big arch in your back. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Core activated. And really squeeze through your glute here to lift up your leg instead of arching your back. So keep it going. Nice and steady breathing. All right, quick break here. We're going back to our backs for the dead bug. If you want to make this more challenging, you can hold a light weight in your hands, but otherwise just keep it body weight here. So activate your core, draw your belly button gently down, start it up. Inhale out, exhale together. Inhale, extend, exhale together. You want to keep your core activated this whole time. Keep your back flat on the ground. And keep the movement nice and steady. Really reach your arm and leg away from each other, and then bring them back over your hip and over your shoulder. All right, take a quick break. We're going to switch back onto our hands and knees for the bird dog. So hands right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. Neutral arch in the spine. Activate your core. Start it up. Opposite arm, opposite leg lift. Keep your back with that neutral arch. Don't arch too much. Don't let it round too much. And squeeze your glute to get your leg parallel to the ground. Nice steady breathing here. Keep it going. Keep your head in a neutral position. All right, great. So now we're going to start up our next group of 2 exercises. It's going to be squats and RDLs. So this one you can grab some weight, or if you're just starting out, you can just do this body weight. So I'm going to grab a little bit of weight for my squats. So I'm just going to hold one weight right in front of my chest. Feet shoulder width apart. Start it up. So lower into the squat. You want your feet shoulder width apart, knees tracking over your feet. Initiate the squat by pushing your butt behind you. And your goal is to get your thighs parallel to the ground. Your chest angle and your shin angle should be about the same here. So you don't want to collapse your chest down, and you don't want your knees to come forward over your toes. So inhale down, exhale up. If you don't want to use the weight, you can also do it body weight. Same breathing pattern. Inhale down, exhale up. You can always use the weight if you want to. Next one is RDL, so again, you can do it no weight. I'm going to start out just using my one weight here. This is focusing on the hamstrings and glutes. So, shoulders back, neutral arch in the spine. Push your hips behind you, keep your knees soft and straight. Come on up. So you don't want to lock out your knees, have a slight bend in them. Hinge your hips over. You should feel a stretch in the hamstrings as you come down and work in the hamstrings and glutes as you come up. So without the weight, you only want to go as far as you can, keeping this neutral arch in your back. If you start to slump over, that's too far. So the depth of this exercise is kind of controlled by your hamstring flexibility. And we need to work on these powerful hamstring and glute muscles to power that kick. So this is how you can do it body weight. You can also do it with weights. Good. So we're going to go back to the squat. I'm going to increase my weight a little bit. So if you have 2 weights, you can either rack them up on your shoulders or hold them down by your sides. So I'll start them with the weights on my shoulders. Start it up. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. So make sure your knees are tracking out over your feet. You don't want them caving in. So if you find that your knees are wobbling, try and spread the floor between your feet to activate your glutes. And then lower into the squat. You can also hold the weights down by your sides and just frame the outside of your knee with them. Whatever you do, make sure you're initiating the squat by pushing your butt back. Pretend like you're sitting down on a chair behind you. Good. Okay, give that a break. We're going to go back to the RDLs. So I'm going to use 2 weights this time. Remember, you can only hinge over as far as you can while keeping a straight back. Shoulders back. Start up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Nice steady breathing. Knees soft but straight. If you only get to here before your back starts to slouch, that's fine. Just go as far as you're able, keeping a nice neutral arch in your back. And you don't have to use weight. You can do this body weight, especially if you're just starting out with Dryland exercises. Form is more important than the weight you're lifting. All right, great. So we're going to go back to our core exercises for the next 2. It's going to be plank shoulder taps and swimmers. So for those plank shoulder taps, we're back down on the ground. Get a nice strong plank position. And then you're just going to alternate tapping your shoulder, trying to keep your hips level. If you have your feet wider apart, it'll be a little easier to stabilize. So to challenge yourself, bring your feet closer to each other. Make sure your elbow's not locked out. Have a little bit of softness in the elbow to make your arm work. If you need to, you can come down to your knees. And if you have a really hard time with the shoulder tap, you can just hold the plank here, okay? But if you can, all the way up full plank position. Keep your back nice and level, hips level. Do those shoulder taps. All right, take a break. We're going to go down the ground. We're going to work on our swimmers. So this should be easy to see how it relates to swimming. It's going to be very similar to that flutter kick. So you're going to lift your opposite arm and opposite leg at the same time in this kind of flutter kicking motion. And as you lift your arms, don't let them creep up by your ears. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Try and keep your neck relatively relaxed. Head in a neutral position. You should feel your back working, your glutes, hamstrings, and your shoulders here. So working on that overhead shoulder strength, as well as that kicking strength in your back. So keep nice steady breathing. Okay, quick break. We're going back to those shoulder taps. So make sure you hold that nice firm plank position throughout the interval. If you have to drop to your knees, that's fine. Set it up and start up those shoulder taps. So you want to have a nice straight line from your shoulders to your feet. You don't want to be sagging here, or you don't want to become a mountain. So really working on core strength, translating that force that starts in the upper body to your lower body. It has to go through your core. Draw your belly button slightly towards your spine. You're going to really activate those deep core muscles. Keep it up. You can hear the stickiness of the mat on my hands here. Alright, quick break. Shake out the arms a little bit. We're going back to the swimmers. So when you have your arms overhead, make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. So we're working a little bit on that shoulder blade stability as well. Start it up. If this is too hard, you can take away the arms and just do the legs. You can rest your forehead on your hands, but if you can, try and do both. So we're really getting that alternating pattern here, alternating core activation. Your back is part of your core. Your core isn't just your six-pack abs. It also includes your glutes and your back and your deep core stabilizers. So we have to strengthen all of those in order to have a really strong core. Steady breathing here. All right, that's the end of that group. Our next group is going to be, we're going back to the chest and back and shoulders here. We're going to do chest flies and reverse flies. So you can use a lightweight or you can start out with just body weight for these. So I'm going to pick a weight for my chest flies here. If this is your first time doing this, you want to choose a really light weight. Lie on your back, hands above your shoulders. Let your arms lower to the sides, bring them back overhead. So don't let your arms drop all the way to the ground. Your elbows should be soft but straight, and make sure you pick a weight that you can control. Your shoulder is in a little bit vulnerable position here because your arms are straight, so a little bit of weight will go a long way. So again, form is much more important than the amount of weight that you're lifting. So make sure you pick a weight that's appropriate for you and not too heavy, especially if you're just starting out on dryland exercises. Go lighter rather than heavier. All right, give that a break. So I'm going to choose a lighter weight for my reverse flies because that's a harder exercise. So for this one, same position as the RDLs, you'll hinge at the hips and then slowly raise the weights out to the side and lower. And again, keep your shoulders away from your ears. You don't want to shrug up here, that's not the exercise. We're targeting your back muscles. Really getting at those rhomboids, your middle traps, lower traps a little bit. A little bit of the shoulder muscles as well, those deltoids. So exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. You want your chest as close to parallel to the ground as possible while still keeping a flat back. You don't want to slump over for this exercise. And this one is a great one to start out just doing body weight. Take a break. That one's really challenging, so if you just start out with body weight, that's perfectly fine. You'll probably still feel a great burn. So back down for those chest flies. Start with the weights over your shoulder. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Keep your core activated. Keep your back flat on the ground with this exercise. If you want to increase challenge, you can lift up into the tabletop position. You'll feel it in your core a little bit more. But again, especially if you're just starting out, go really light on this weight or even body weight. Make sure you can control the motion first without your shoulder popping forward. You don't want any discomfort in the shoulder. And with good, slow, steady mechanics here. You don't want to have to swing the weights up over your shoulders. It should be controlled, lowering and lifting. All right, so then we're going back to those reverse flies. So I'm going to grab my light weights here. So this one you want to slowly be able to lift the weight you've chosen up to shoulder height. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. So this is a really good one to start body weight. It's a really challenging exercise, especially with these straight arms or almost straight arms. A little bit of weight is going to feel like a lot. So as you hinge over, make sure your back still has that neutral arch and you're not slumping over here. And keep up that pace, nice and steady. Even breathing. Feel those back muscles kicking in to lift those weights up. All right, quick break here. If you like, you can pause here and take a quick water break. We're just going to keep on going to the next interval. At any time, if you need a little bit longer break, you can always pause this video. So our next group is going to be oblique V-ups, and we're just going to do them on both sides here. So it'll be one interval on one side, one interval on the other side, and then switch back and forth. Okay, so lying on your side here. And start it up. So oblique V-ups. You can either do a bent knee version, or you can do straight leg version. So again, we're coming back to our core strength, and especially if you want to pull your legs in for that open turn or crossover turn, we need to strengthen these oblique muscles and these core muscles. So keep nice, steady breathing. You can choose if you want to do the bent knee version or the straight knee version. You can even pull your arm overhead down towards your feet. Take a break. So there's lots of variations of this exercise. We're going to switch sides here. So you can hopefully find the right challenge for you. Add whatever arm motion you need to make it either harder, easier, or more similar to swimming. So start it up. So you can do the bent knee version. This is like you're crunching in for that open turn. Or you can bring your hand all the way down. Get that arm in there a little bit. Or you can do the straight knee version. We're just trying to target those obliques. You can make it more of a crunch in your obliques here. The options are endless. Just keep up the breathing. All right, very good. Going back to the other side again. So set it up. And start it up. Nice steady breathing. You also have to use those obliques every time you rotate. In freestyle and backstroke, it requires a lot of trunk rotation, so these obliques are really important, again, for translating the power from your arms to your legs, or helping you rotate side to side. So we really want to make sure to target these muscles. It'll help us have better body position in the water and a more efficient stroke. Keep it up. All right, going back to the other side, our last interval of this group. Start it up, a straight leg version here. So these dryland exercises, I hope you can see how they relate to swimming. So you can pretend you're pulling your knees in for that open turn. Or you can use these muscles to rotate yourself in the water. And you can change up the arm motion just to give yourself a little variety. Change up the leg motion. All right, that is it for that group of exercises. So our last two exercises here, our last group of two, is going to be lat pullovers and overhead ventral and lateral raises. Okay, so I'm going to grab some weight for the lat pullovers. And we're gonna lay on your back. Start with the weights of your shoulders. Slowly lower overhead, and then raise back up to over your shoulders. So this one, you want to start really light. This is a vulnerable position for your shoulder. You don't want your shoulder to pop out in front, or you don't want to risk straining the structures in the front of your shoulder. So definitely choose a lighter weight than you think you need, especially if this is your first time or one of your first times doing this exercise. So control lowering overhead, and then control lifting back up. There should be no swinging here. Okay, and then we're going to overhead ventral and lateral raises next. So I'm going to grab a light weight for that too, since we're going all the way overhead. Stand nice and tall. So lateral raise, all the way overhead. And then ventral raise, all the way overhead. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. You don't want to shrug them up, so get them down and then lift your arms up. This is about muscular control. So set those shoulders down, lift your hands up. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower, inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Keep your core activated so you don't arch through your back, especially as you lift overhead. Very good. Okay, back down to the ground for those lat pullovers. So this motion should be very similar to a freestyle pull or backstroke pull, butterfly pull, breaststroke pull, really all of them. We really have to use our lats as swimmers to pull through the water. That's where so much of your power comes from in your upper body. So you really have to have strong muscles to help propel you through the water while still protecting your shoulder at the same time. So again, I'm going to emphasize this again. Use a light weight to start. Make sure your form is perfect before increasing the weight. You must be able to control lowering and lifting. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. All right, very good. We're going back. We have one more set of those overhead ventral and lateral raises. So grab your weight for that. To add a little balance challenge, you can also stand on one foot. So I'll show you that. So overhead, lift, lower, and then forward, ventral raise, lift, lower. So we can just switch back and forth. And as you can see here, I'm doing it with my thumbs up, especially because we're going all the way overhead. Having your thumbs up instead of palms down, it opens up your shoulder joint a little bit, creates more space in the shoulder with less risk for impingement or pinching in that small shoulder space. So as overhead athletes, we swimmers need to keep our shoulders in good shape, strong and healthy. So try with those thumbs up. All right, and that's the double beep, which means we're done with the strength portion of this workout. So you can hit pause here, go ahead and grab a quick drink of water, and then come right back. We're going to do our cool down and stretch. Okay, so all we have left is the cool down here. We're just going to start off with a side step and an arm swing just to bring our muscles down from that hard workout. We're doing 20 seconds each. So swing those arms, get the blood flowing, clear out all those muscle byproducts from all that hard work. The next one, we're going to find a wall for a wall chest stretch. So put your hand flat on the wall and then just turn away, and you should feel a stretch in the front of your shoulder and your chest, maybe a little bit into your bicep. Breathe into the stretch here. Go ahead and switch sides. So you place your other hand flat on the wall. Turn away from it, and you can play with the angle of your hand. If you feel like you need a longer stretch on any of these stretches, just go ahead and pause and you can hold the stretch for longer. Do an overhead lat stretch on the wall here. So hands up overhead and then sink your chest towards the wall. You don't want too much of an arch in your back, so keep your core activated here. Really try and stretch under those arms. Next one is going to be a standing quad stretch. So stand up nice and tall. You're going to grab your ankle, stretch out the front of that thigh. Breathe. You can hold on to a wall, a chair, or your workout buddy. Workout buddies make great balance supports. Go ahead and switch sides. Grab your other ankle. You can grab your toes or the top of your foot to stretch out your shin a little bit. And keep your knees together. Don't let it flare out to the side here. We're targeting the front of that thigh. Next one's going to be a downward dog, hamstring and calf stretch. So hands on the ground, and then try and sink your heels towards the ground. You should feel a little hamstring stretch, a little calf stretch on both sides. And breathe. So sit down. We're doing a glute stretch. So cross your opposite ankle over your knee, toe towards your foot, and then walk yourself closer to feel a good stretch in that hip and that glute piriformis here. Make sure you pull your toes towards your knee. Go ahead and switch sides, so your other foot over your opposite knee. And then try and bring your chest closer to your shin here, or you can walk your butt closer to your heel. The next one is a frog adductor stretch. So shins out to the side, parallel to each other, feet out to the side. Then you sink back. This is really important. Hip mobility for that breaststroke kick. We have to have this hip internal rotation here to get a powerful breaststroke kick. Breathe. The next one's going to be a cobra. So on your stomach, push up. You want to straighten your arms, but don't lock out your elbows. Open your chest, lengthen your neck. And then last one is child's pose, so sink your butt back onto your heels. Relax your back and shoulder muscles here. All right, and that is it. So you just finished a beginner dryland workout for swimmers. So I hope you can see how those strength exercises are really going to target the muscles that we use in the pool to pull ourselves through the water and kick through the water, propel ourselves through the water. And so I hope this workout was helpful for you. Remember, quality is more important than quantity, so make sure your form is perfect before increasing on any weight. So that is it. Great workout. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.